This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Hey there, it's Brian Sebastian, movie reviews and more, live around the world on K4 TV, radio, and podcasting, Top 4 Media, TV, radio, podcasting, streaming on Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, over 100 platforms around the world, and streaming on Worldwide TV Network, WomenOnTV.tv, and IG247 out of Franklin, Tennessee. So this is going to be an interesting show. Technology is great when it works, terrible when it doesn't. I should know. So, let's start with this. Rachel out of Houston, Texas. Rachel Roberts. All right, nonstop out of Redondo Beach. And, Carolina's there. She just pops up out of no place. Interesting. So, and nonstop to Redondo Beach, California. We have a couple waiting. I call them Mr. and Ms. America out of Florida, waiting in the green room to get on. And then we have the director of the film that I really like, called Royalty, music of Kevin McLean. All right, so Ryan, let's start with you. Let's talk about this documentary, why I like it and why it's good. And anybody who plays music is going to want to see this documentary. Go for it.
Royalty Free, the music of Kevin MacLeod is about a composer who releases his music for free. And because he does this, anybody in the world can use it. This includes Martin Scorsese using it in Hugo, while also that same exact track can be used in Grandma's Cat video. Wow. And because of this, his music has been in basically everywhere you could possibly imagine. Theme parks, over 10 million videos on YouTube, over 3,000 on IMDb. He's in elevators, amusement parks, theatrically released films, everything you could possibly imagine. Kevin has become the soundtrack to my life because I can wake up. Let me turn on the radio. There's Kevin. Okay. Let me go home. Let me go start driving to work. There's Kevin's music on the radio. Okay, cool. Now let me listen to some YouTube. No, Kevin. Okay. Let me get in this elevator. Kevin. One time I was calling the hospital and they had me on wait. And it was Kevin. He's everywhere. And yeah, I was like, hey, did anyone do a documentary on this guy? He is like everywhere. No? Oh my God, Kevin. Yeah. Can we do a documentary on you? So we meet up and we had this giant thick booklet of like a pitch to him, and he just kind of flips through it. Yeah. Okay. Sure. And here I am.
This was at the Lloyd International Film Festival, one of my favorite film festivals around the world. And, our friend Greg Girard. But then, this is a great documentary. And I know Joanna and David would like this. Terri would like this because everybody's using their music. We want to know what we can use. And Kevin's music is what everybody's using. Right, Ryan?
Yeah, because it's free and all you need to do is give credit and you're good. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Vita Coco has used it, but you can use it yourself. Miss Rachel, You can use it too in your next cooking show.
I want to. That's what I'm thinking about. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. What do I Google? What do I do?
All you need to do is go to incompetech.com. It is the fusion of incompetence and technology.
Wow.
Good to know.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
And he's released over 1,000 tracks and virtually every genre. So if you really need to find something, there's a decent chance it's there.
I can see.
That's so cool.
I can see David's head probably spinning, and I can see Joanna saying, "I got some great music." All right, Dave and Joanna, I'm not even going to introduce you. I have to say they're our friends. I'm glad that they're here. It's Mr. and Ms. America. You know, she's won 3 times. She's done all kinds of things. He's got 15 books. He'll wake up tomorrow and have number 23. I don't know how the guy does it. But the best film and the best book that I've ever written is Jet Ride to Hell. All right, David and Joanna, tell us who you are. Go.
Jet Ride to Hell, Journey to Freedom, jetridebook.com. Anyway, Joanna, take it away. Talk about Women of Royalty USA.com. And thank you, Brian, so much.
Great introduction.
And Ryan, that was great. We're excited about that. Incompetech.com.
Yeah, that's awesome. Love the technology. Well, so we're really excited. We've got some big things that have been happening. We just got done finishing 7 broadcasts for Sid Roth. He has a show called It's Supernatural.
It's Supernatural with Sid Roth. In my world, it's naturally supernatural.
That's right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So David did some great teachings. I did some music on there, and one of the teachings is called How to Freeze Time.
HowToFreezeTime.com. It already had about 500,000 views out of the gate and still counting. People are really getting impacted. HowToFreezeTime.com. And I think you'll enjoy that teaching.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's actually based on a scripture in the book of Joshua in the Old Testament, Joshua 10, where Joshua actually freezes time. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, Joshua commands the sun to stand still, and the sun stands still, and the moon stands still for 24 hours. They're able to defeat their enemies during this frozen matrix time experience. And then we believe you can also use that same authority, freeze time, defeat the enemies of sickness and disease. And we've seen all kinds of people supernaturally impacted, healed, delivered from traumas, and all kinds of things. And we get all kinds of testimonials in of what God did for people during the time being frozen. HowToFreezeTime.com.
Yeah. Well, and so I just got done doing an event for one of my Miss America events, and it was so cool. There's a program called Angel Soldiers. And every month, what this organization does is they have volunteers that go out to help feed our veterans. And they provide thousands of pounds of food. And so it's really cool. So the vets will drive up in their car. It's kind of like going through a drive-through. And then they load the car up with food and groceries and meats and vegetables.
Each person gets about 80 pounds of food each month.
Wow.
We get to honor our veterans that way. Well, what was amazing about it is they're in that caravan of cars. There was about 200 cars that came by. And just as they come around the corner, they're getting ready to exit and they're getting their final items. There's Miss America with her Miss America crown and sash. And she's able to say thank you for serving our country.
Yeah. So what they do is when they get to the end of the line, a volunteer will always thank them for their service. So I got to be that person to thank them for their service. And it was so cute because they're driving and they get distracted because they see the crowd and they're not watching where they're going. Are you the real Miss America? Yes, I
am. They all wanted photos. They were, of course, were hitting on Joanna, asking her, if she wanted to go out and number. And, you got to give them credit. And so there's a picture right there. She's done, cleans up well. So that was a great picture. I remember that.
I remember that.
Grammy Museum. Brian. And we were at the Grammy Museum right before they closed for the pandemic. It closed the next day.
Is that crazy? That's us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Kosias.
I know. Look how beautiful.
Katerina.
The Queens.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So part of what I do for my platform, for those of you that don't know, is I do royal princess crowning ceremonies. And so I crown girls and women of all ages. The youngest one was little preemie who was born like she was like several months premature. And it was a miracle that she actually survived, because they normally don't survive for how tiny she was. She was literally like this when she was born. And so when I got to crown her, she was this big. And she just looked at me with these big eyes, you know,
precious.
and so it was really precious. And then the oldest one that I crowned is like almost 100 years old.
Wow.
100 years young, I should say.
Yes.
Yeah,
2 months old to 102.
that's right.
It's
Exactly.
a mindset, right?
That's right. It's all mindset.
Everyone qualifies.
That's right. Everyone qualifies. So one of the events that I'm going to be a part of at the end of this month in Orlando, Florida, is called the Women of Royalty Conference. And so part of this conference, I'm going to be doing a royal crowning ceremony on the women. But we have there's a lot of speakers that are coming in for this particular conference
From around the nation,
Yeah.
and from out of the country. One coming in from Israel, one I think is in South Africa or Poland right now.
Yeah, so they're going to be doing these special performances. And so this conference theme is about revealing the diamond within. So that's what this is here, diamond with a crown on top.
And every woman has a diamond inside that God just wants to take the tarnish off and the brilliance unfold.
Yeah, so the speakers are going to be talking to the 4 pillars of health that every woman needs, which is her physical health, her spiritual health, emotional health, and financial health. So we have incredible speakers, and what's going to happen is we're combining drama and theater and music, the arts, the creative arts, along with traditional style speaking. So Friday night, which is going to be April 29th, we're going to have what's called the Lazarus Encounter
In Orlando, Florida.
And so the Lazarus Encounter, for those of you that don't know, is based on the book of Lazarus, where
John chapter 11, Lazarus.
Yeah, where Lazarus died, and Lazarus was a dear friend of Jesus, and his sisters were Martha and Mary. And Jesus loved them. That's what the Bible says. He loved them. Well, Lazarus got sick and he died. So he was in the tomb for 4 days. Now, what's interesting is in Jewish culture, I don't know if you guys know this, but in Jewish culture at that time, they felt that their spirit would stay for 3 days. And then by day 4, they're dead. They're like done. And so Jesus knew that he was sick because the sisters had sent word, and he waited until day 4 to come. And so when he did, long story short, he commanded them to remove the tombstone, and he commanded Lazarus to come out, and Lazarus had his grave clothes on. Well, those grave clothes represented death, represented rejection, sickness, all those things, a lot of things.
All those things that bring death is what the grave clothes represent. And so go ahead, this is a great.
Yeah, so the women are going to be part of that performance of the performer who's coming in, and they're going to actually have grave clothes on, and they're going to write on those grave clothes what the tomb is of the heart, or what the negative mindsets are, or what the disappointments have been, or the regrets, or whatever it is. So it's going to be powerful, and that's just a small part of what we're doing.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
Carolina, I wanted you to introduce your book and what you do to Dave and Joanna, because I figured it kind of ties in to the royalty of her crowning women.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am the author of the Adventures of Elene series. I wrote my first book. This is my daughter's copy, so it's a little bit beaten up. She's read it like 10 times, but this is the first book, Elene and the Blue Bottle. Yeah, I love the cover. And the Adventures of Elene series is a series about a girl named Elene. It's a coming of age series. And Elene is figuring out a little bit about her own uniqueness and how can she make this accepted by her peers around and her environment. And as soon as she's about to figure this out, she's about to become friends with her arch enemy. She's whisked by her grandmother and taken to this magical world where she now is in a new normal, and she has to figure out not only what her powers are and unravel all these secrets that are in her family, but she's now exposed to great adventures and not so great adventures, and fantastic people and not so fantastic people. And at a young age, she has to make all these decisions that are hard to make for anybody, particularly for a 12-year-old. And in this, she finds that there is a new arch enemy that's after more so or after her powers, and she has to figure how to manage this and everything around her. And so it's really a book about self-empowerment, about girl power, about decision making, about family, love, friends, and about diversity and inclusion. How do we grab those differences, uniqueness about each one of us, and how do we use those not only to accept them, but to push a society and a race in these situations, magical races, further than when they started with, and make that our new natural and open doors in that situation where it's fresh, it's new, and it's accepted. So that's what the story is about.
How exciting.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
And I think it's interesting that the arch enemy is trying to steal her power.
Right.
And I think that's real life, where somebody wants to either oppress us, steal power, merchandise us, monetize us, enslave us, whatever. And we have to protect our power. First, we have to realize what our power is. So I think that's a great book on the journey of discovery and maturity, and discovering the power, and then protecting them from the arch enemy.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's those decisions that we make, in the different, in what society thinks is okay and not okay, and how do we break those boundaries, and how do we do that as a 12-year-old female, right, that goes to a new world and is an alien. So from starters, right, she's not fit, she doesn't fit in, so she has to make these decisions, and it reflects a lot. I started this story, or I came up with this in 2003. I'm a mother of two now, so for me, I see how important, of two girls on top of that, so how important it was to select a female protagonist. But at that point in time, I didn't know how valuable this was going to be today. I wish I could have, had a magic ball and predicted all of this, but no. And it happens that what's going on today in the world, what we're seeing pre-COVID, post-COVID, and all the things is very relevant. And kids are going through a lot of changes, and a lot as they are seeing their role models make decisions. So for me, it was important to put something that was light and fun and exciting, but yet address without knowing those issues. Right. And the way that we're going to really, I think a key decision is also the disposition that we take while making decisions. Whether you're going to make a decision or not, you're going to have to go through it. So might as well be happy. You can choose not to be. You can be miserable. You can be sad. You can be mad at the world, and you're still going to go through it, or you can be happy. So that's also a decision in its own. And I think it would be great to teach our kids and our youth to figure a way just to not make light of it, not make fun of it, but have a better disposition about it, and make those decisions to go forward. And I think why not have a girl do it?
Yeah, I think you really key point, Carolina, about choices. We have the choice to choose how we're going to feel, and it's really interesting because one of our speakers, she is a certified holistic health coach, but also an EVOX technician. And EVOX is a technology that deals with the brain and the emotions that get locked up in the brain.
And EVOX, the word vox means voice in the Latin, so electronic voice. So it literally reads your electronic voice and can read the traumas in your body that are locked up, that could be generationally and handed down in your DNA. So what you have, both blessing and both non-blessing, came generationally in your DNA. So you can choose to inherit the blessing, you can disinherit the other and get it purged from your body by dealing with that. So anyway, that's really cool, because
I love that.
12 years old to get it right at that age, and not have to figure it out at 55 or 55 or 65. What a wonderful way to get it early on the journey and preparing these girls. Right. Wonderful book.
Absolutely. And I love what you said. I'm by education, I have a scientific background, and I've been in the pharma industry for 20 plus years. So there's a lot of science in my books.
Yeah.
So when you said that, I'm like, oh, how interesting that is, and how fantastic to discover a different way to see how our brain works. I think we're at the tip of the iceberg. We still don't know enough, and the more we learn, and the more we talk to each other and appreciate each other, and see. As science evolves and beyond science evolves, we learn more about humans, about us, and what makes us go one way or the other.
There's an interesting statistic, but I just say this and I'll be quiet, but I think it's somewhere between 95 to 98% of all sickness rooted in our thought life. So we literally have wrong thoughts about something we inadvertently accept as unchangeable. Well, my mother had this, my grandmother had this, I'm going to get it at this age, and it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
But if we buy into it, there's like a lien against our health, a lien against our life. Well, my mother was divorced, my grandmother was divorced, I'm going to end up divorced, I just have to prepare for it. No, you don't have to have that. So that curse can be broken, the blessing can be released. It's by choice, it's by intent, and attitude determines altitude. We can either fly high with a good attitude, or we can descend low with a bad attitude.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I just see even in my life, when you kind of are going through a hard time, and you're picking up on the like just negative stuff around you, it seems things you attract more things to go wrong, and when things are going right, you seem to attract more things more positive stuff. It's really weird, but it is like what you're putting out to what energies you're putting out there is what you're attracting, and it's like. The older I get, the more that when bad stuff happens, I try not to go in that negative direction. It's hard, it's really, really hard. But I think when you realize that you're doing it, that's half the battle.
And having a friend that can speak into your life and say, "Hey, Terri, I see you're in this way. David, snap out of it. I love you. Your attitude is declining. Snap out. You're more than a conqueror. Let's change our confession." And having somebody that has maybe a mirror who can lovingly share with you what you sound like in the frequency and help re-guide you.
Well, I'm glad that I can call Terri all the time and tell her that I kind of like her, you know? So with that, Steph, Rachel Roberts, let's talk about this. You can't have that mind and to have these things that David joined to without good food. Tell them what you do.
Okay. First of all, I just want to say I love you guys already. All of you are really, really cool people, and I'm humbled just to be here and on this podcast. I love hearing about, all of the things y'all are doing, and I can't wait to look into, reading the book more and the, the kind of royalty. All of this is so cool, and I'd like to, talk to you guys further about this later. All of the really neat stuff. So anyway, I'm Rachel, and Rachel Roberts Recipes, and I'm in Houston, Texas, and I'm a home chef, but I do cooking videos, and I'm all over social media, so I'm out there. You can find me. Brian always asks me to make something special, so I just want to share with you. Oh, by the way, something I do is I eat clean so you can drink a little dirty. All right, so and today we've what I've wanted to share and brought with you. Wait, let's see if I can. There we go. This is a bisque, and it's hard to see because it's like the camera's not right and all that. But it's thick, it's beautiful, and through substituting out the bad stuff and putting in good stuff, you can still eat it. It's a shrimp and crab bisque. It's delicious. Instead of using heavy cream, I used coconut milk, and it thickens with the stock. It's perfect. And the cocktail today is a lemon drop martini. Ooh, but instead, and see, I've just got some things. I'm this crazy little woman that gardens and grows stuff. So I've got some beautiful lemongrass and some sorrel. And even that is a clean cocktail. So it's sugar free. Easy to make. Just a little vodka, lots of lemon, and this is the trick, is the RX sugar. So that's, instead of using real sugar, this is a good one. It's a syrup. So I like that for the cocktails. Now, if it was going to be something, else like my coffee in the mornings, I would use a little monk fruit. But anyway, that's what I do. I'm a home chef in Houston, and I like to turn on the camera, and I like to talk and be all fun and silly. Guys, I think all of you are so cool, though. I'm really, really excited about, talking to you further. about, you know, the book and the show and everything that you do, and then the music and all of it.
Awesome.
So
Ryan,
anyway,
Wait,
let
Rachel.
me go to Ryan real quick. So Ryan, now that you've met everybody except for Terri, what do you think about this so far?
Well, first, I'm wondering when my bisque is arriving in the mail. I am now extremely hungry. Thank you very much. And I'm also wondering where I can grab a copy of the book and go to the next event. You got me hooked.
yay.
Good. We're going to have everybody meet in Tennessee. So David and Joanna, I think they're going to check their schedules. They know about it. We're going to see if they can meet. So, hey, Ryan, you can be invited. It's called Women in Film and Television. So I'm just wanting to put everybody together if I can.
That is a very noble thing to do.
Yeah, I'm excited to meet everybody. I think I agree with you, Rachel, by the way. I think this group is fantastic. And I will, as soon as we close this meeting, hang up, whatever the term is, I'm going to check out your videos. My daughters love to cook. I love to cook. So we're going to be doing your recipes together. Yeah.
Yay.
So nonstop, Terry's been doing very, very good, Joanna and David, since we last saw each other. So I'm really proud of her. I call in and I check on my friend and make sure that she's doing okay. Don't I, Terry?
Yes, I appreciate it.
Yay, so awesome, Terri. Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm back in the gym training. So hopefully, I mean, I keep putting off doing a show, but I want to be like in the best condition possible to get back up there to compete. So either May or June is probably where I'm shooting for. And then by time we get to Tennessee, I'm going to be launching some NFTs. I've got a project I'm working on with Carl, who's also part of our team, but I don't want to talk too much about it until I launch that. And I think I will be surprising everybody in the next couple of months. I got a lot of stuff up my sleeve that I can't talk about.
Nice.
Oh, exciting.
I think the last time we saw you was either Las Vegas or was it Costa Mesa?
It was
Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always have fun.
Yes, always.
Hey, David, talk about your other books that are coming out.
Finished this one. This one's called 7 Different Kinds of Voices. Kind of tells the difference between the voices that vie or contend for our attention throughout the day: the voice of the flesh, the voice of the devil, the voice of God, the voice of our own soul, the voice of religion, which is a diabolical voice that will try to steal the voice of God, mask itself. And then there's the voice of the dead. Our old dead flesh tries to get our attention, our old dead nature. And then there's the voice of blood. Blood has a voice. The blood of Abel cries out for justice, and the blood of Jesus cries out for mercy. So 7 different kinds of voices. You can get that on Amazon. And then, I've got... I just finished this. This was just on...
of course you did. Of course you finished book number 17.
What was that?
You finished book number 17 or 23 or whatever it is.
So this is a 6 audio CD series called Freedom and the Glory. It's on Sid Roth. It's supernatural. We just finished this. Joanna played music on this audio CD series, and then I, of course, taught, and people are getting just rocked as they're listening to the atmosphere of heaven comes into their room. They're applying the principles. They're experiencing healing and breakthrough and deliverance and freedom from traumas, and they're getting catapulted forth in areas where they've been stuck, breakthroughs in finances, and so many other areas, relationships, restoration. So Freedom and the Glory, it's on Sid Roth. It's not on our website. This is actually was for the broadcast that we did internationally there. And so Joanna, it was amazing because she played that music. It just kind of set the atmosphere. And then she would sing and I would teach. It was a great pairing and a coupling.
We have a kind of funny story. So when we shot all these broadcasts, we were exhausted. So by the time we had to do the series, because it's 6 45-minute teachings,
audio CDs,
and
you're in the studio, so you have what they refer to as the VOG, the voice of God. So you don't see anybody, but you get done, and they're like, "Oh, that was great." So you hear the voiceover. They're like, "Ready for the next one?" So when you get into your 5th or 6th, you're like brain dead almost. Mm-hmm. Joanna's at the piano, and just with that melodic, hypnotic music.
So I'm like putting myself to sleep. I'm like this. While I'm playing.
And so I'm teaching and looking through my notes. I'm like half asleep. And
we were so tired.
We were so
just
tired.
Exhausted,
Plus,
right?
we've done all these other platforms.
Right.
And so, long story short, I kind of lean back and I look at Joanna. Now, nobody sees this on audio. And I said, Joanna, would you please, speak a declarative word or, pray over the people? And as I turn back and I say, Joanna, she's like, her head pops up. She was, she's such a trooper. She didn't give up. I'm leaning on her for help, and and so she like pops up her head. I'm like, man, we're really in trouble. And you get done with these CDs, and
I'm like thinking, oh my gosh, I'm like putting myself to sleep. What are these people going to think?
And so when we got
like Lazarus,
we were like Lazarus.
Come forward.
So what was amazing about it was we were like, you don't even know when you're in that length of that marathon of doing the back-to-back audios. You think, man, there's nothing on it. It must have not been so good. We began to listen to the audio CDs just when we got them in the other day. And they're just so powerful, and the testimonies we're getting back.
Yeah.
So don't be concerned about what it feels like in the moment. Your message is so powerful because you learned it in the furnace of affliction. You were brought out with a mighty outstretched hand. You've been refined in the fire. And your message may not feel like much after you've come out of it. You share it 10, 15, 20 times. But the first time a person hears it, it speaks to them. So don't hide it under a bushel. Let your light shine. Somebody needs that light.
That's right. They need to hear what you have to say, or sing, or create, cook, or whatever.
You have a voice.
That's right.
The diamond within. Take the tarnish off. I'm going to let it shine.
Hey, so David, tell Ryan and Roxy about being at the NAMM convention in 2019. Joanna was the only one to play on this $1 million piano.
Oh,
that was amazing.
It was like a Star Trek black lacquer piano, and it was one of a kind. It won a bunch of awards. And we came in and they're like, oh, nobody can, play that, this and that. And they had famous people were there.
Who asked to play, and they were denied. They're
so they had to rope around it. And I said, what if Miss America was here? Could she play the piano? And they said, like the real Miss America? I said, yeah, MS America, 26 and up. If she was here, could she play the piano? And they said, well, I don't know. And I held up the crown box. I pulled out the crown, put it on Joanna. She put on her sash, and they marched her around, and she played the $1 million piano. And it was absolutely a wonderful experience.
It was amazing.
That was the coolest piano I've ever seen. Like, it looked like something out of the Starship Enterprise Star Trek.
Wow.
And Brian, it's amazing how these events that you do and that you are able to and it's, they're life-changing, they're awesome.
Brian, you carry so much favor on your life.
Yeah, you really do.
A day of favor is better than 1,000 days of labor. And a day of favor will open a door for you that 1,000 days of labor will not. But the character that's developed during 1,000 days of labor or 10,000 days of labor might be required once the day of favor opens the door for you to remain in that position. Because favor will do for you what nothing else can, but only character will keep you in that position once favor's promoted you onto that platform.
And you are that.
You carry that favor, and you've got that character.
Yep.
You're a door opener, gatekeeper, CCO, Chief Connecting Officer.
So with that, I think this is your next documentary if you choose to accept the mission.
I love it.
The story of the $1 million piano and the $1 million woman.
That's right.
Yes. Hey, talk about this. Everybody's using, Kevin's music, but do they really understand it? And it's in the piece of the documentary. Nobody knows that they're using his music. Talk about that in more detail.
Well, most of the time when people go to his website, they just see Incompetech, and they're like, oh, okay, it's free music, whatever, I'll just use it. But they don't really think about the guy behind it. To them, it's just kind of for a lot of people, it's just kind of, oh, it's just free music, let me use it. It's free music. Oh, wait, well, I've heard it there, and I've heard it there, but okay, I'll use it. And so I like to think of him as the world's most heard living composer that nobody's heard of.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
So many people have heard the music, but they don't really know of Kevin himself because of this unique kind of situation we are in the digital audio revolution, really. Where one person with $1 million piano can upload their music, put it under a Creative Commons buy, so all they need to do is give credit and they can use it, and the music can travel the world. And no other time in human history has this been possible. There was no person in ancient Rome with the lute being heard all the way in Australia.
Right.
And what, Ryan?
That is so cool. I'm so excited about that.
One person at a time. I can't hear everyone.
Go for it, Rachel.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm so excited about that because for a long time I was doing my videos and I was playing music in the background and people were going, "You can't do that. You can't have Alexa playing music." But this is going to be a game changer, and I miss that. I miss being in the kitchen and and moving around and dancing and it being part of who I am. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. You're going to change my videos for the better.
Can you spell out the website name?
Which one? Mine or Kevin's?
Okay. Yeah. In Computech?
INCOMPETECH.
Okay, perfect.
Very cool.
That's how you spell in Computech. Oh.
Yeah. How long did it take to do this documentary? Because I always tell people it takes about an average of 7 years to do a documentary. How long did it take you?
It took a long time, I'll tell you that, just to get up to this point. We started doing research in 2013, and then we did a Kickstarter for 30,000, worked out in 2014, and then more research, and then filming. And with a narrative film, let's say the latest Spider-Man, they have a month blocked, or a month and a half, or 2 months blocked, and it's film. But with documentaries, it's like, hey, are you free to do an interview, please? And so you kind of get it when you can, and so unfortunately you can't just kind of rush it. And then when you write a documentary script, you have to hear every single interview, and we did 65 interviews.
Wow.
So it was a lot of footage that we had to go through, and then we had to sort it, and then we had to put it on the timeline, kind of like Lego building, in order to kind of make a cohesive whole. And then after the film is even finished, then you need to get feedback. And then you have to submit it for film festivals. But film festivals take a while for you to hear back from. Okay, and then you do the film festivals, and then that's another year, and then you do it another year. So it's a long time and a lot of work, but it's definitely doable for the general public these days, now that access to digital equipment is so much cheaper. One person with a camera, sometimes with an iPhone, can make a film or a documentary and submit it everywhere.
Okay.
And Ryan,
you can get some.
I couldn't hear that.
Oh, for Terri, I'm going to say, you can use a whole range of new music now, Terri.
Yes.
And Carolina, you had something?
yeah, I had a question about what led Kevin to do that. That's a different approach that most people don't take. So what was his inspiration to kind of produce? I mean, that's a lot of music to give away for free.
A lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work. So it wasn't about the recognition. So, but what inspired him to do that?
Failure.
Wow.
Oh my God.
He started in Computech back in 1996 when there was like 100,000 websites on Earth. And then he started posting music a little later on. And the way he did it is he entered a music competition and he failed. So he was like, well, if I put it online for free, somebody will use it. It will be helpful to someone.
Huh.
Right?
Wow.
And then he just kept making 2 to 3 tracks a year for now over 2 decades.
Wow.
And so it just builds up week after week after week, 3. And it's a really unique model in that he makes money giving away free music. You wouldn't think so, but it's possible because, well, one, the obvious, there's ads.
Mm-hmm.
2, there's you could pay a $30 license fee if you can't just give him credit. You could also donate directly to him, but the 4th one is the most interesting in that it's custom compositions. So when I was in high school and I had to make a video, in Compotech, sure. And then in college, I'll keep using Compotech. And then after high school, when I made Kung Fu films, hey, boss, we need to get some music here. Get some free music. I don't have the budget. Okay. Compotech, sure. The thing is, if you need a custom composition at that point, well, I don't know any other composers. Like I could maybe ask my uncle, or I can like play a kazoo. But if I need custom compositions, I don't know any other composers. So let me ask this Kevin guy. Hey, can you do a custom composition for me? Yeah, sure. And then
nice.
There's a regular standard rate. So it's kind of insidious in how, like, by giving away the free music, it kind of just builds his reputation online, and you end up paying for it anyway sometimes if you really need that extra bit.
So I got to jump in and say something. This is Roxy, the producer of the show, and I am in the music industry as well. So I deal with so many self-made artists, and artists include a variety of podcasters, musicians, there's so many people that could benefit from this. And the benefit just doesn't go one way, it goes multiple ways. So I've got to say this is a genius way of creativity to be able to encompass what we need and what we got to do to strive to be those self-made artists. So it's pretty awesome. Wow.
Yeah, he's the great enabler is another one of my nicknames for him, because he helps to enable other people's own creativity, because he gives them the background music they need to help spice up their cooking channel, or maybe their book commercials, or anything they need. He helps enable them to boost their own creativity.
Adverts, commercials, intros, outros, all of it.
TikTok.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Hey, Ryan, give you social media real quick. Go ahead.
I didn't quite catch that.
Oh, what do you got coming up? And give you a social media link.
Well, I am planning my next film.
On Mr. and Miss America?
If they want to do that, then sure, give me ring my email, Ryan@royaltyfreedoc.com, and go to the Facebook, Twitter, whatever you need. I'm very amenable to talking to anybody. Like when I did the Kickstarter and raised the $30,000, I Googled and wrote personal messages to everyone, because I just love talking to people and hearing their stories. And the world is so vibrant and expressive that I want to hear and know more. And so if anyone wants to talk, I am surely available.
Awesome.
Awesome. We'll give you a ringy dingy.
Give me social media link. Go for it.
RyanCamarda.com, royaltyfreedoc.com, and at royaltyfreedoc.
Terri, nonstop. Give your social media links.
My website is terrimarieofficial.com, and then nonstop Terri Marie on all platforms.
Carolina, talk about your books one more time and give your social media links.
Yeah, so you can find my books in Amazon, also in Target and Walmart online. And you can look at me at my website or find me on my website, which is adventuresofalene.com. Aline spelled ALINE. Or go to my social media. It is at Carolina UGACM. And that's for all of the social medias. And my second book, I'm working on it. It's going to be called Elene and the Queen of the Crones. It's a brand new magical creatures that I'm creating, and hopefully it'll be out soon. So let me reach me out, and I'll keep you posted on when the new book is coming out.
Rachel, now you got music you can cook to, don't you?
Yeah. And you know what, all of you, I want to stay connected with each of you. So when you find me sending you a friend request or whatever it is, you make sure to connect with me. Okay, so I'm at Rachel Roberts Recipes, and that's where you can find me. And see me in the morning. We do a little coffee talk. So
David and Joanna, you guys get the last word. Go.
So Jet Ride to Hell, Journey to Freedom, jetridebook.com, jetridebook.com. True story from the prison house to the palace, and the journey in between with redemption. And then Joanna has womenofroyaltyusa.com. That's the conference. It's April 29th and 30th. And you can register. Seats are limited. It's filling up. It's in Orlando, Florida. It's going to be a life-changing event.
Awesome. Yeah.
I guarantee you show up, you will never be the same. womenofroyaltyusa.com.
And then we have virtualchurchmedia.com. So that's our ministry platform. We've got videos, teachings, everything, spiritual food for the hungry soul.
And then you can read my books on Amazon and Jet Rides on Barnes & Noble online. And then my other 14 books are on our website, davidhairabedian.org or virtualchurchmedia.com. And Amazon, you can also just grab them off Amazon for Kindle, download, softback. 5 of them are on hardback now. So it's been awesome.
Yeah.
And we've also got Heart of America Prison Ministries, helping change lives, one Bible at a time, behind bars, heartprisonministries.org.
What David didn't say, as Joanna was talking, he was finishing his 30th book at that point.
I actually have 3 right now that I'm writing, and I've got the cover done on one and some contents on the other, but I haven't been ready to release them yet. I'm excited about those.
Oh my goodness, good for you.
that's cool.
Yeah.
So, Rocky, give yours too. We got to talk about RA Nation. Go ahead.
All right, RA Nation, you can check it out on Music Familia Productions on YouTube. RA Nation podcast on Facebook as well, where we give musicians a chance to highlight who they are and what they're about so we can learn and grow in the music scene.
And so I want to thank everybody for coming on. It's never easy to do all this when everybody's around the country, even around the world. But as I always say to this, have a good night tonight, a better day tomorrow. If you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours. Or Joanne will end up crowning you, which I think is a great thing.
That's right.
Brian Sebastian, this is Movie Reviews and more. I want to thank everybody, and we will see you next week.